Before we begin, let's take a few moments to put our hands together to worship the Supreme One, the Enlightened One, the Incomparable One, the Lord Buddha, by chanting the Namaskara 3 times, all together and with me. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. It's been 2 weeks since I last got to talk to you. And those 2 weeks had been rather very eventful. Last Saturday we had another, one of our most special, one of our most, I would say one of the most, arguably, important ceremonies of the year. Last week we had an ordination ceremony where we saw the birth of not just 1 or 2, but how many? How many? Not just 11. Because although you may have seen just 11 people, 11 young men stand on stage and ask for ordination, behind the scenes, in the audience, there were maybe, hundreds of people who gave a sadhukar. Just said sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And whether they know it or not, they've also entered this journey, entered this mindset. Because, they are rejoicing in what? What are they rejoicing in? They are feeling this joy in what? Seeing an ordination. So what do they get? They will get ordination in return. I mean, I think, although there was only 11 people on stage asking for ordination, behind those 11 people, hundreds. I think we are very, very fortunate to be able to have witnessed that, and not only witnessed, to also have, with us, helped in some sort of way. Because these 11 anagarikas, they didn't drop from the sky. They're not Mr. Bean who falls from the sky and lives life like that. Instead, they are people who lived and breathed in the monastery for an entire year, surrounded by the association of what? Noble association. Whether it's a monk, an anagarika, whether it's a Sita Shravika, Shravika, Sidhu, whether it was just a devotee, surrounded. These were the causes that came together on that day. These are the causes that helped them take that step. Because as the Buddha himself, as well as the Venerable, the great Arahant Sariputta himself says, the act of ordaining itself is incredibly difficult. But not just that. Practicing as a monk or as an ordained self. See, again, it's not talking about a monkhood here. Because a monkhood is just, in a very, very superficial level, a bald head and a robe. It's not talking about a monkhood here, but the mindset of a monkhood. To stay in that mindset is very difficult. So on that day, not just 11, but hundreds. I hope all of you were also able to make a determination. May I also not become a monk, For some of you, you may not be able to in this lifetime. But enter monkhood. A group of amazing beings, amazing minds, coming together for one purpose and one purpose only. I mean, this is why they say Sangha Samagi. This is why they say that, the associate, the Sangha is always together. Because they always come together, they always learn together, and they always disperse together. This is the Mahasangha. So again, we're very fortunate to see that. And throughout this entire ceremony, I was able to also make a determination. Because that's something that our teachers have told us. Every time you have an ordination ceremony, you yourself, again, make the determination. Sabba dukkha nisarana. Sabba meaning all. All dukkha. See, now we know what dukkha truly means. So, sabba dukkha nisarana. Nibbana satchikaranattai. Imang khasavang gahitta. Every ordination ceremony, that phrase means something completely different. An extra layer has been added. Because now we start to understand what is true dukkha. Is it, because we used to think that what was dukkha? We used to think that dukkha was, I'm going to grow old one day. I'm going to die one day. I'm going to become sick one day. That is dukkha. Then we realize, no, that's not just dukkha. Dukkha was when you have an expectation and you cannot fulfill the expectation. Then we got a new meaning to that. And then we have more meaning. Now we know dukkha to be what? The quality of dukkha is what? The coming together. With ignorance and attachment, the coming together. So sabba dukkha nisarana. This is the thing. Every ordination ceremony is different. Because we are all taking another step forwards. This is why we're incredibly lucky. Incredibly lucky to be able to, witness an ordination ceremony once every, 3-4 months. Another time where we can make another affirmation that, this is what I'm trying to do. Another way to remind yourselves what the purpose of you being at the monastery. I mean, just compare yourself to who you used to be. Just compare yourself to who you used to be. Yesterday, I was having I was listening to a sermon, and this young child was explaining how she used to have an entire room full of things. She used to have millions of clothes. And now she can put all of her clothes in a small box. All of her belongings is one small box. Is that not monkhood? From going from someone who used to have, closets filled of clothes to a small box with only just five pieces. As a monk, only 3 robes. All belongings can fit into this small box. This is the mindset of monkhood. The mindset of a monkhood is very superior. Superior because it's very difficult to take a step from having everything to being everything. From having everything, from a big room, a comfy bed that's mine, a cupboard filled with clothes that are mine. These are my books. These are my pens. To being everything. Understanding that this is all cause and effect. This is all whose. No, this is all nature. And I am also what? Nature. That switch in mindset, that is monkhood. That's the thing. Every time, we have an ordination ceremony, this is, I myself make this affirmation. This is what I'm here for. This is what I'm here for. I'm here for one thing and one thing only. And what's that? Understanding the nature of nature. Nibbana Satchikaranataya. Just remember the amount of colors you used to wear. You had a red, you had orange, you had blues, you had, different trousers, shirts, you had, dresses, you've had, all these different. Now all you're wearing is what? From the colorful, like a peacock filled with colors, to now a white top, a sarong, an uttarasalua, and for some of you a patkada. See the difference you've made. Why have you made the difference? This is the ordination ceremony. Ordination ceremony isn't just for those 11 young men, 11 children. Ordination ceremony is for all of us. So I hope you are able in this ordination ceremony to, enter the mindset of a monkhood. Enter monkhood. If not, make the determination now. This is what I'm here for. And something that I think I reminded you last time as well, or it's like almost like a phenomena, is at every ordination ceremony, it just has to rain. I mean, we have, in the monastery we have a drought season where we don't get much rain. But yet, when there's an ordination ceremony, you can guarantee there's going to be some sort of rain. Because the earth itself can't handle it. The earth itself can't handle the fact that 11 people are now dedicating their lives. Not just 11, but the entire whole is now dedicating their lives to what? Nibbana. There'll be a day, right? So currently Sri Lanka is nowhere near a tectonic fault. But there'll be a day we'll have an earthquake. And that day is when we have many, many anagarikas standing on a big stage, requesting for ordination. And the thousands of people watching give the sadhukara. That's the day the entire, Sri Lanka will have its first earthquake. Because the earth can't handle it. Because we're doing something that is completely against the flow of samsara. We're going completely against the flow of samsara. We're fighting against this flow of ignorance, swimming against it. So of course the world can't handle it. Of course, there's going to be a rain. Because this is the sasana we're talking about. The sasana is not a simple thing. Sasana is never simple. The sasana is not for the weak, not for the weak-minded. The sasana is for those who have strong determinations. Those who are willing to let go. Those who are willing to listen and completely listen to a teacher and change themselves. Sasana is not for the weak, not for the weak-minded. This is why the ordination ceremony is such a strong place, such a strong event. Because this determination is actually very, very strong. These determinations are much stronger than you actually think. Because something that I really want to talk to you all about is this idea of vipaka. Because before you understood the Dhamma, we all had, me. We all had me, and we all think that, I am doing what I'm doing. So when you started hearing Dhamma, what did you think? I have to do what? When you started listening to Dhamma, the first thought that comes to your head is what? I have to attain Nibbana. Therefore, because I have to do it, now what do? You listen to sermons, you do a lot of meritorious activities, you start, accumulating all these merits and practicing the path and doing all this. I am doing all that. That's okay. Because as time goes on, as you understand more and more of the Dhamma, you realize that I'm not there. That I am just a feeling. I am just a fallacy. However, this can happen. And it's very easy to fall into this trap. I am not there. I am not there. I can't attain Nibbana. Nibbana will happen when? Sometime in the future. It's very easy to fall into this trap that, Nibbana will happen in the future. Because I'm not there. I am not here, so I can't attain. So first of all, you have this idea that, I will attain Nibbana. I will attain Nibbana. That's the first thing that we get, right? And that's because of ignorance. But the more you understand Dhamma, you realize, well, I can't do anything. Attain Nibbana will happen. When? In the future. It's something that can happen in the future. Therefore, I don't have to do anything. And then you have this incredible faith that no matter what I do, that Nibbana will happen someday. No matter what I do, Nibbana will happen someday because I'm not doing it. And then what will happen is, because you have this belief that Nibbana will happen when in the future, you start to not have or not be accumulating the causes for the effect of Nibbana. Because why? I can't attain Nibbana. Because what is Nibbana? Nibbana is the coming together of causes. Because this entire world, as we know very well, that this entire world is what? Cause and effect. So we have to accumulate the causes. Now, the accumulation of causes, who does that? Well, I don't do that. Then, it's something that happens. Or another way you can explain this is that it's like this. We are all actors playing a script. We are all actors playing or acting out a script. Now, here's the thing. Is there a script here? We are all actors playing, acting out a script. However, we believe that we're the ones doing it. Is that what's truly happening here? Or do you understand this idea that, things are happening. I'm not doing anything, things are happening. So, Nibbana, in my script of life, Nibbana is there somewhere. I can't do anything about it. Therefore, I am just gonna run this script, and one day Nibbana will appear. So there's a script that we're running against, or script that we're running through. See, that thought is actually faulty. That thought that there's a script at play is faulty. Why is it faulty? Because if you have a script, what does that mean? It means your future is determined. It means that you have a past, you have a present, and you have a future. You have a future that is fixed. That's the script. The script is there. All you're doing is you're running against the script. In this play of life, you're running against this script. So I can't do what I want. What will happen is what the script wants. But we know one thing. That this entire world is what? Cause and effect. If this entire world is cause and effect, can your future be fixed? Well, it's very easy to say, yes, it is. Why? The causes come together, that gives rise to an effect. That effect becomes a cause, that gives rise to another effect. So if you were to look at all the causes, you can predict an effect. This idea of predicting the future is wrong. For the reason, the future isn't for us to see. The future isn't there. The future isn't written down somewhere in the universe and we're just following this script. It's not prophesized. Your future is actually written at this moment. But yet, don't we find great relief thinking that our future is fixed? We find great relief. This is why, it's in our culture, in the Sri Lankan culture, we go and look at our horoscopes. Or, you get, palm reading, palmistry. You have tarot cards. Why do we have that? Because once you think, this is my future, you fix that future and it gives you a great relief because you think, I know what's going to happen. So imagine, you look at your horoscope and one day they say, in your horoscope, you're going to face this terrible period of time. But after that period of time, you're going to have, a massive fortunate events. What do you feel? I'm going to go through a horrible time. That's okay. Because now I know that I'm going to do that. I'm going to go through that. But afterwards, I'm going to have, this amazing period of time where everything's going to go the way I want. Because we find relief in knowing that, the future is fixed. We find great relief thinking that the future is fixed. Even if they predict something horrible, we still enjoy knowing. So for example, if they say, you should stay away from water because, something bad's going to happen with water. Even though, something bad's going to happen, you feel this relief thinking that, this is what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen in the future. Therefore, I feel this relief. But really, is your future fixed? Your future is created at this moment. Your prediction is created at this moment. Next moment, it is a completely different prediction. I mean, my parents used to truly believe these horoscopes, and to this day they probably still do. And I remember, growing up, every time before some sort of big event, they'll look at the horoscope and say, oh, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. And something that's always been in my mind, and I've always asked my parents is, well, last time you looked at the horoscope, they said something different. This time they're saying something completely, not completely different, but it's now different. Why is that? If the horoscope is true, shouldn't it be the same thing no matter when you read it? But it isn't. Because your future is created at this moment. Your future is created at this moment. Because your future isn't something that is really there. There is no script in this universe that you're following. You are just following the cause and effect at this moment. For example, sometimes we have this belief that, that I'm just a feeling. So Nibbana will happen. It will happen someday. Nibbana will happen someday. So what should I do now? Anything, because it's going to happen someday. But without putting together the causes, how can you get the effect? There's the thing, your teachers will always tell you, Nibbana is something that will happen. Happen only if what? Only if you are collecting the right causes. This is why your teachers will always tell you, listen to sermons, go and practice the path, wake up at 4 a.m. and attend the Nyaya, no matter how hard it is. Attend the Buddha Puja. Have weekly teachers meetings. These are the causes that bring this effect of Nibbana to the mind. These are the causes that bring the effect of Nibbana to the mind. Nibbana is not something that will happen. Nibbana is something that is happening for as long as the causes are there. Because something that we don't talk about, and I really do want to start talking about, is this idea of this karmic strand. So something that Guru Hanu talks about is this karmic strand, which, he beautifully represents with a string and beads. Now, what is really interesting is, what is vipaka? What is vipaka? Because what can actually come through vipaka? Vipaka is an energy. Vipaka is a... I like this representation because it shows, a ball. It's not a ball of energy, but a collection of energy. This energy has the power to do what? Has the energy to do what? Has energy to do what? Has energy to make, to help a mind arise. So your vipaka can only do one thing and one thing only. Help a mind arise. How? See, when I and object comes into contact, if there is no energy, you shall not be able to see. Only if there is this energy there, can I and the object come into contact and the seeing mind arise. So your vipaka energy can actually only give you these things. What things? A seeing mind, a hearing mind, a smelling mind, a tasting mind, a physical contacting mind, as well as a thinking mind. Nothing more. Can your vipaka give you anger? Can your vipaka give you desire? But what happens if you like chocolate? Can't vipaka give you desire? What happens if your vipaka gives rise to, let's say, vipaka is giving rise to physical pain? Is it not igniting anger? Because what does vipaka actually do? Can vipaka give rise to chocolate? This is the thing. Your future isn't determined. Your future is made at this moment. So your vipaka doesn't control your future. Your vipaka isn't your future. Your vipaka is giving birth to this moment. So we know that when vipaka gives rise to, when the vipaka comes to comes to bear fruit, all it can give you is, in the process of the mind, all it can give you is this. Rupa. All it can give you is what? Rupa. Rupa meaning this mental image in the mind. That's what it can only give you. The rest of it is what? The Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vinyana, this is all part of the what? This is actually not vipaka anymore. This is all karma. So your vipaka can only give you the mental image. The rest is according to the environment of the mind. The rest is according to the environment of the mind. So, the rupa can only be a mental image. So, for example, you get the mental image of chocolate. But the Vedana, right, or the response, the recognition, all of that is something that happens within the mind. So, can you get is the views that you get from the outside world, is that vipaka? Let's say you get the view that chocolate is delicious. Is that vipaka? Can it be vipaka? Is the views that you get from the outside world, is it vipaka? Do you get views out of vipaka? Are your views vipaka? They can't be. Because vipaka can only give sight, sound, smells, taste, touch, and thoughts. So who is actually giving you views? We always talk about, ignoble people give us wrong views about how pleasurable this world is. Where does that come from? Rupa? From vipaka? No, this drushti or these views come from the mind itself. So who is the fault of your downfall? Who is to blame for your downfall? I had this friend in 2nd grade who told me, how pleasurable chocolate was. It's all his fault that I'm addicted to chocolate. Is it? You meeting that friend is what? You meeting that friend is what? Vipaka? No. Sight, sound, smell, taste, touch is vipaka. You associating that person, hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting, touching is vipaka. But you taking the dushti, taking the view is not from vipaka. Now, this is very, very important to understand. Because this environment of the mind is what draws the next vipaka. The environment of the mind. So this mind will arise, Rupa Vedana Sanya Sankara Vijnana, arise. And then when it passes away, that creates the next environment for the next, or for another vipaka to take fruit. Now that's really important, because this is why you can say that there is no future, that your future is not determined, because you can change this mental environment. You can change this mental environment. You can change your vipaka, or the environment for the vipaka to come, with determinations. Because if you think that everything will happen, then what will happen is, let's say you have to wake up at 4 in the morning to go to the Nyaya. Then all you have to do is, have this idea, if I wake up, I'll wake up. If I wake up, I'll wake up, and when I wake up, if I have the energy, I'll go and go and attend the Nyaya, this doctrine sermon. Or you can have this idea that, let's say you're listening to Guru Hanu's sermon. If I get to listen to his sermon, I listen to his sermon. If I fall asleep, I fall asleep. It's not under my control. It's not under my control. It's all just cause and effect. Yes, it is all cause and effect. But no, it isn't something that just happens. Because you can change this environment. So if you are someone, you have to have this quality of determination. This determination changes this environment. So for example, in the morning, right? Let's say you have to wake up at 4 in the morning. If you have this idea of this is I'm here, or the importance of the Nyaya, the doctrine. If you have this idea if you have this determination that I'm going to wake up in the morning, then will you wake up? You have to change the environment to change the vipaka that comes to you. For example, remember, rupa is vipaka. Rupa comes from vipaka. The rest comes from the environment. You being at the monastery is a result of what? Karma or vipaka? Karma or vipaka? Both. You had the determination that I want to attain Nibbana, or Nibbana, that I need to attain Nibbana. Therefore, this creates the environment for the next vipaka. What's that? How can I attain Nibbana? Then you get the karma, then the vipaka, then the karma, the vipaka, and now you're changing the environment. Now you are at the monastery. You are at the monastery not because you had your vipaka told you to. Your vipaka doesn't tell you to do anything. Your vipaka is just there. It's just a ball of energy. It's just a bunch of energy. You changed your environment, therefore you're here. Environment was changed, therefore you're here. So who changed the environment? Question's wrong. No one changed the environment. When the causes came together, did the effect appear? So is our future determined? Our future is determined at this moment. Our future is only determined at this moment. There is no, a future that is for you. There is no prophecy that says you will do this. Even the Buddha himself, when he prophesizes, he can't give, like he says to, I can't remember the name of the couple, but the Buddha looks at an elderly couple and says, if this elderly couple had joined had tried to attain Nibbana at a younger age, both this couple would be an arahant. If they tried it at middle age, they would become an anagami. If they had tried at 50, they would at least become sotapanna. But now these two are too old. See, if our future was fixed, then wouldn't they have already done what they've done? The Buddha wouldn't be able to say that. That's the thing. Nibbana is in your hands. Don't let fate take your Nibbana. Don't let fate take your Nibbana. I'll attain Nibbana when it attains. No, you. Now when I say you, see, this is language here. You can't talk without, language is based on ignorance. When I say you, I don't mean the sense of self. I mean the causes. What I'm doing here is I'm giving, all you're doing is you're hearing a vipaka. And if this vipaka goes, this is a view. View will change the environment. Environment to drag, to take more vipaka. To change the environment, to change the vipaka that you draw. See, when I say you, I don't mean you as in you, but no matter how much I say, you have to change your environment. The first thing you feel is, no, it's me. I have to change my environment. This is why motivation doesn't, motivation is a spark, but self-discipline is the flame. Because motivation is only just, something that you hear. But the self-discipline that you have, that, I'm going to wake up in the morning somehow and attain the Nyaya, even though I only slept for 3 hours. That's okay. That self-discipline is the flame that burns away defilements. Because what is your vipaka? Your vipaka is just energy. In your karmic strand, your karmic strand, you have vipaka for almost everything. You have vipaka for almost everything. Right now, this roof is over our head because of what? Why is it not crumbled down yet? Because we all have the vipaka. In this infinitely long journey in samsara, we haven't been wholesome people. Just think about, about your life currently, the life you've had currently. You weren't wholesome your entire life. So we all have the vipaka for this to fall down, but because of the environment, that vipaka isn't drawn. That vipaka isn't drawn. Because of the environment. This is the thing. You can't attain Nibbana. I agree. But causes have to be put together. By who? So take yourself out of this mindset that, walking will happen, doing this will happen. No, instead, doing this. Walking. Not I am walking, but walking. Not walking will happen, no, walking. Because if you say it will happen, it's almost as if you are separating yourself from actions, but you are still there. It's as if you are there and, walking is happening. You are there, but walking is happening. That's wrong. That can't be. Instead, walking, but who's walking? That's wrong. Walking. Because causes are coming together to give the effect of walking. It's very interesting. When you start talking about the mind, it's very interesting because your mind tricks you. Your mind tricks you because you think that, I am walking. Or you think that walking is happening, but I am also there. But we're trying to get rid of all of that and understand that walking is just a process. Feeling of I is also what? A process. Walking happens, or walking is there, but I is a mental projection, or just a fallacy of the mind. That's all we're trying to do here. We're trying to understand what is really happening. All we're trying to do is trying to understand what is really happening. Who is doing it? What is happening? That's all we're trying to understand. Because when you ask yourself who, and you look at it, there is no who. When I look at what is happening, there's only causes coming together to give a manifestation. That's all there is. There is no one to do anything here. That's the thing, the power of a determination. That's why, in these ordination ceremonies, these determinations are so powerful, because they're able to change this environment that changes the vipaka that's drawn. That's why, when a person enters monkhood, again, not a robe and a bald head, when they enter this mindset that I want to attain Nibbana, they change this environment that changes the vipaka that is drawn. For example, in the monastery, will you have the vipaka of a party? Can you? So far? So far, can you have the vipaka of a party? No, but in the environment of the monastery, you have the vipaka of what? Noble association. You have the vipaka of what? Hearing the Dhamma, seeing merits, rejoicing in merits. That's all because of a determination that in this Nibbana, I want to attain Nibbana. So this is the thing, your determination is the strongest thing. You can change your vipaka, or you can change the vipaka that is drawn through your determination, through the changing of this mental environment. This is why, this is why your teachers will ask you, who do you associate? Change your association. Because what they're trying to do is they're changing this to change the vipaka that is drawn. Because you can't change, or you can't get rid of vipaka. You can't get rid of your karma. What has been done has been done. What has been done has been done. All you can change is what is drawn. For example, make a determination whenever you meet a kalyana mitra that you're not going to just talk about, the sun and the moon. Instead, you'll be talking about the Dhamma. Make that determination. Therefore, you change the vipaka that's drawn. So you're not going to go meet your fellow anagarika, your fellow, sila shravika, and talk about, what did you have yesterday night? You're not going to talk about, yesterday it was raining, right? Instead, have the determination that I will, whenever I meet my kalyana mitras, I'm not going to be talking about all this, nonsense. I'll be talking about Dhamma. Yesterday, Gruhan Salmon, Gruhan said something like this. What did you understand? Now you're drawing the vipaka. Now you're drawing the vipaka. Vipaka is putting the causes together. So is your future fixed? If your future is fixed, see what happens if if your Nibbana is fixed. See what will happen if you take a step outside the monastery. See when Nibbana will happen. Just take a step and see. Will Nibbana just fall onto your lap one day? That's why this is why, your determination, your environment is key. Your environment, your determination is key. Without any of that, Nibbana is not possible. Without any of that, nothing is possible. Now, I'm talking about Nibbana because that's what we all want here. But say you have another idea. Say you want to be rich, the same thing. Say you want to be, really healthy, same thing. It's all about your determination. It's all about your determination. It's all about your environment. That's what changes the mind. So you can't change your mind. But the environment can be changed. So the future isn't there because the future is now. Don't try to attain a Nibbana in the future. I mean, actually think about it, right? You don't need to. I mean, lots of people get really stressed thinking, I'm not attaining Nibbana. How can I attain Nibbana? I can't attain Nibbana. When I'm sitting here, I'm thinking about this and thinking about that. Nibbana is not just happening. We're very good at complaining. We're very good at complaining, aren't we? I mean, that's basically what we're hardwired to do, right? Complain. This is not working. That's not working. Excuse me. This is like this. This is like that. We are hardwired to complain. We complain about our journey. We complain about our Nibbana. Nibbana is not happening. Teacher, today I wasn't able to practice too much. One way that you can actually judge how so it's not the way, but one way that you can judge, how much you are practicing is about the mindset that you have. What sort of mindset do you have? Do you have a complaining mindset, or do you have a very positive mindset, no matter what? So, for example, Guru Hamdru starts preaching and he says, lay people, how do you attain Nibbana as a lay person? If you listen to that and you think, Guru Hamdru says we can't attain Nibbana, so we can't attain Nibbana. What's the point of doing all this? If you have that mindset, understand you have a long way to go. But if you have the mindset, okay, you know what? If it's living like a laity that's stopping from attaining Nibbana, let me change that. If you have a positive mindset, no matter what, someone comes and scolds you. If you have a positive mindset thinking, okay, let's see what I can do now. If you have a positive mindset, understand you've taken a massive hop, skip, and a jump towards Nibbana. Because your Nibbana is a mindset. If you have a positive mindset, no matter what happens through life, let's say, something that can really disencourage you is that, you thought that, you practiced in the path and one day someone says something, you become really angry with them. And you're like, I thought I was practicing, but, yesterday, this person said this to me and I got really angry. If you feel really downfallen or you feel really demotivated because of that, understand that there's a gap there. Instead, you should feel, yes, I feel anger. I have something to do. Yes, I feel desire. I have something to do. I have something to do here. That's the mindset that you should have. Or not, yesterday there was ice cream and I had ice cream and I was just in this ice cream world. I was just enjoying ice cream. I wasn't able to practice the path. Instead of feeling downfallen about that, you should think, yes, I feel desire. I have something to do. I won't let it go. And let me fight until I can get rid of it. Something that one of my teachers had said long ago is, if your enemy of defilements enters your kingdom, don't let them just enter and destroy and then leave without you doing anything. when they enter, and if let's say you can't do anything, you see them and you can see them attacking the entire village, at the very least, go and just blow at them. At the very least. Do something small. Because next time your enemy understands what? That person blew. Who knows what they're going to do next? Make your defilements scared. Don't let the defilements just enter and leave. So when you feel desire, okay. It's okay. Accept it. But don't let it leave. Don't let it leave with making vast amount of damage. At least blow. At least just give it a blow. Because your positive mindset. This because it's not me saying have a positivity, be as positive of a person as possible. No, positivity has to come from within, because you realize that there's nothing here that is going to pull me down. Today my teacher shouted at me. I felt sad. Okay. Yes, I felt sad. Yes, I felt sad. Yes, I felt sad. Because what do I have to do now? Contemplate. I agree when Guru Nanak says, right? If a person was to look at your mind, right? A person who's contemplating, they will look at a contemplating mind, they'll call you crazy. If you ever tell a person that, someone made me angry and I thought, yes, they made me angry, people will think you're crazy. So they'll put you into a mental asylum. I agree with Guru Nanak. Because we're going against the flow of nature. We're going against what people normally do. Because we have a different goal. We have a completely different goal. I mean, all that people want is to while away time. All that people want is just to while away time by doing something. That's why what is the worst punishment a person can give you? That's not death. Is to put you in a room where you could do absolutely nothing. That's why, in high maximum security prisons, the way they punish the worst of the worst is by putting them into an isolation, in a dark room where they have nothing. And they say, people can go crazy if they stay too long. So there's an actual, a limit to how much isolation a person can have. But for someone who's practicing the path, wherever. Isolation? Okay. Let's go to isolation. Let me fight against my defilements. I mean, long ago, something that Guru Nanak had said long ago, is that, if he gets thrown into jail, say something happens, he gets thrown into jail. Jail isn't a problem for him. Actually, it's a benefit. Because why? He's given food, he's given a place to stay, and we're not there to disturb him. So all he has to do is what? Contemplate. So not even jail can make you feel sad. Not even isolation can make you feel sad. This is the thing, this is the positivity of the Buddha Sasana. That's why, this is why you hear these stories of these great arahants and, stuff happens. I mean, life is full of problems. Life is a problem. but they endure it. And they have a smile on their face. And the Buddha Sasana is just filled with smiles. It's filled with a pure and positive heart, no matter what, no matter where. That is the Buddha Sasana. So who is the father of positive thinking? The Lord Buddha. So actually see, how positive are you throughout your day? Do you wake up with negativity, or do you wake up with a heart filled with positivity? Do you wake up in the morning thinking, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, I don't want to wake up today. It's raining outside, another just couple more minutes. Or do you think, another day for me to battle against my defilements? What mindset do you have? Because that's the mindset that your teachers have. No matter what, they have a smile on their face. Because they realize that everything is cause and effect. That only when the causes are together do we have the effect. This is why, whatever feeling that you have, understand its cause and effect, accept it. Okay. Yesterday I was walking down the path and there was this, it was really dark, and then something came out of the bush and I got really scared. Accept it. It's okay. Fear is okay. Sadness is okay. Hatred is okay. Desire is okay. Aversion is okay. Hatred is okay. These are okay because why? We understand it's what? Cause and effect. So what do we have to do? All we have to do is get rid of the causes. All we do is change the environment. Because there's nothing wrong with the mind here. There's nothing wrong with the vipaka here. What is wrong? With the defilement process beneath it. This is why in the Buddha Sasana we have no enemies. Except our defilements. Except ignorance. We have no enemies. So if there's a Mahatmya that you don't like, why? Why is she an enemy? If there's a Mahatik that you don't like, if there is a person that you don't like, why is there a person you don't like? It's because not because of your vipaka, not because of your mind, not because of their mind, because of your defilements. That's why I love the saying, hate the sin, but love the sinner. Because the mind is completely innocent. But the sin, the defilements, is what you have to hate. That's the enemy. Hate the sin, but love the sinner. Because sin is innocent. The mind is innocent. The mind just arose, a rupa, the vipaka shakti, the vipaka energy put together and gave the causes to the rupa. The mind arose, right, vedana sanya sankara, and gives the result of vijnana. That's innocent. However, beneath it, ignorance and attachment are at play. Vexations at play. Vexation, therefore insanity is at play, and therefore we have jati. Jati is at play. There's the This is why the Buddha Sasana is filled with the most happiest people alive. With people who no matter what happens, they are filled with, they have no hatred. This is why, the unity of the Sasana is there. Because we all have one thing and one thing only. Just that. Nibbana. That's what makes us, that's what unites us. Nibbana. Again, I ask, who's Nibbana? The answer is Nibbana. So, put the causes together, right? Don't let don't let your mind think that Nibbana will happen in the future. My future is fixed. All I'm going to do is all I'm going to do is do these things, and Nibbana will happen one day. No, Nibbana can only happen in this moment. If you stop putting together the causes, then Nibbana won't happen. Now, this doesn't mean that, let's say you aren't able, there's an emergency and therefore you have to miss Guru Hanru's sermon. That shouldn't mean that you think, oh, that means if I miss a sermon, I'm not going to take Nibbana. No. Do what you have to do at that moment. If that moment you have to listen to a sermon, listen. If that moment is that you have to go and, look after small kids, then look after the small kids. If that moment is, there's a massive car accident on the opposite side of Sri Lanka and you have to be there for some reason, then go. Go with understanding that it's all cause and effect. That's all we have to do. Understand the nature of nature. Understand the world to be anicca, dukkha, anatta. That understanding, you have to have that understanding, you have to put the causes together. You can sit under a tree, you can sit under the Bodhi tree for, 28 years of your life. And this Dhamma won't come to you. But you can sit at one sermon and you'll be able to understand. Because of causes. This is why Kalyana Mitras are the entirety of the sasana. Because without them, none of this is possible. So for your fixed Nibbana, you can give that up. But your Nibbana is not fixed. It's about the causes you put in now. It's about the causes you put in now. So don't delay. That's why the Buddha says, be heedful. Practice. Don't let a moment go by. He's telling you to do what? Put the environment together. Make the determinations. Remember last time we talked about, venom and anti-venom? If you're someone who is always angry, find your anti-venom. Your antidote. And make the determination, whenever I feel angry, this is what I'm going to do. Whenever, if you're someone who is very greedy, right? If you're someone who is, who loves, a certain type of food, have the determination that, whenever I get this food, I'm going to give at least this portion to someone. To break it. So when you have a problem, you have to put the antidote. So whenever you have ignorance, you have the antidote of ignorance. But whenever you face raga, dvesha, moha, put the antidote as well. Right. So I'm really aware that we have Dakineyu to go to as well. So I have to finish early. But I would really do want, like I will always say, that this is only this is all really theoretical. But there's no point of theory. No amount of theory will get you to Nibbana. I mean, I'm so unfortunate, no amount of theory will actually get you to Nibbana. Because Nibbana is a practical journey. We can only, as an external person or an external mind, all I can give you is 20%. The 80 is all yours. You have to put this into practice. There's a good saying that says, you can take the horse to the watering hole, but you cannot make the horse drink. You can, shove the horse's face into the water, but you cannot make the horse drink. So all I can do is show you. All I can do is tell you. But it's your responsibility. Nibbana is in your hands. Most of us are very lucky. We get to hear, so many different sermons every week. Guru Anguru, Naika Anguru. Right? We all have our personal teachers, most of us. We are so incredibly fortunate. But the question is, that's the 20%. Do we do our 80%? If not, don't be discouraged. This is the thing, when we say, you cannot attain Nibbana if this happens, and this is not to disencourage you and think, I can't attain Nibbana. Nibbana seems so hard, so, it's impossible. No, make the determination that I will try. I'm going to put more time. I'm going to try. I'm going to, let instead of being demotivated, let everything motivate you. If you don't have a positive mindset, you can't attain Nibbana. I can't attain Nibbana, I don't have a positive mindset. Don't be demotivated. No, take it positively and saying, okay, I'm going to, from today onwards, have a positive mindset no matter what. No matter who I talk to, no matter what I face. Because remember, the mind and the flow of nature is against Nibbana. So your mind is always trying to find a way to drop the ball of Nibbana. Your mind is always finding a way to drop the ball of Nibbana. To find some sort of excuse, thinking, maybe I can't attain Nibbana. Maybe Nibbana is not for me. Maybe how people talk about to attain Nibbana, you have to have a 3 hetuka parisamadhi, to be born with the 3 causes or whatnot. So a lot of people come and say, what happens if I'm not? What happens if my Nibbana won't happen in this life? What happens if I do hetukai? Maybe Nibbana is not for me today. Maybe. Because the mind, whenever the mind finds something hard, it's always looking for a way to drop it. That's why, if you found maths hard in school, you always try to find a way to drop it. You found English hard in school, you always find a way to drop it. That's why, if you don't get good marks in English, you did not take for A-levels. Because why? You thought, if I can't do English in O-levels, how am I going to do it in A-levels? I can't do it, so I'm going to drop it. Our mind doesn't like doing things they find hard. So Nibbana is not hard, it's not impossible. So the mind will always find a way to drop it. Don't drop it. If you feel that you will drop this ball of Nibbana, tie it to your hands. Because Nibbana is possible. Because who is attaining Nibbana? Causes come together, give effect. Is making a fire impossible? Is making a fire impossible? No, all you have to do is put the causes, fuel, oxygen, temperature, and the effect will appear. The effect will manifest. So Nibbana is not impossible. It's a practice. I gave the 20%, now it's your 80%. Guru Ramana can only give 20%. Only your 80 is left. And Guru Hana keeps saying, he's preached enough. He's preached anicca dukkha anatta to, the extreme levels. He's given the 20%. Then why are we not arahants yet? Because we still have our 80. Okay. So today we have Dakineyo. So we will not have the discussions after the alms. So because we're in the Vas season, the rain retreat season, we have these evening Buddha pujas, the Malmura. Right? If you can join into these, these are also causes. These are also causes. A Buddha puja is a very important cause. Yeah. Join those. Right? We will, in a couple months we have our Khatna ceremony coming up. Again, this is also a cause. There's also another cause. Remember, keep the ball of Nibbana in your hands and find a way to take it from your hands and put it into your mind. Okay. Let's take a few moments to transfer merits and conclude today's session. Let's all take a moment to transfer what the merits we required by making offerings to the infinite virtues of the Noble Triple Gem, chanting Pirit, listening Dharma, and engaging in various meritorious deeds today. So first and foremost, let's remind ourselves how incredibly fortunate we are to be in receipt of Buddha's teachings. And with immense gratitude, let's transfer the merits to Bhikshu Bhikshunis, Upasakas Upasakas, who since time immemorial have protected and preserved the sublime teaching of the Buddha and passed it down to the generation of noble lineage in the form of the Tripitaka, which is thankfully available to us today to study, to understand, to comprehend Dhamma. Let us also take a moment to transfer merits to all the members of the Mahasangha present throughout the world, including all the chief prelates of all chapters, who have dedicated their lives to no path and committed themselves to the betterment of all sentient beings. Let us not forget among them will be the monks and nuns resident in your local temples and nunneries, who have always been by your side through thick and thin, come rain or shine. Let us also take a moment to transfer merits to Guru Sananse, as well as other monks resident at the monastery, as well as the Anagarikas attached to the monastery. Let's take a moment to transfer our merits and express our gratitude to those who make great effort to disseminate the teaching of the Buddha, be thereby translated in sermons, sharing them out with others, inviting others to join them. May the power of the merits, if any of them have been born in the woeful plains, may they redeem themselves and be born in the blissful plain. May by the power of the merits, may they abstain from unmeritorious deeds, fulfill the meritorious deeds, fulfill the noble eightfold path, and attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let's take a moment to transfer the merits required to our devotees, friends of the monastery, who forsake our merits, continue to sustain the Mahasangha. This includes every one of you who have contributed to the construction of the monastery, to those of you who provide the Mahasangha with shelter, alms, robes, medicines, as well as those who pass with their know-hows and their well wishes. May the power of the merits, may they abstain from unmeritorious deeds, fulfill the meritorious deeds, fulfill the noble eightfold path, and attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let's also take a moment to transfer merits to our mothers, fathers, husbands, wives, brothers, sisters, sons, daughters, grandparents, uncles, aunts, cousins, nephews, nieces, our elders, friends and acquaintances, employees, and to all those who have helped us, supported us, assisted us in any shape or form. By the power of these merits, may they be healed of any physical or mental ailments, may they overcome any obstacles in their spiritual progress, may they abstain from unmeritorious deeds, fulfill the meritorious deeds, fulfill the noble eightfold path, and attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. There's also one chance that merits the Devas, Brahmas, spirits, demons, primarily the Sakadeva, as well as numerous gods and deities who are committed to protect and fulfill some of the Sasana. There's also one chance that merits to our garden deities, who keep a watchful eye over us and keep us out of harm's way. May the power of the merits, may they prosper in divine power and wisdom, may they abstain from the unmeritorious deeds. Fulfill the meritorious deeds, fulfill the noble eightfold path, and attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let's also take a moment to transfer merits to our ancestors, who have predeceased us, to all that have been friends and family to us in this infinite long journey in samsara. Let's take a moment to transfer merits to all that have helped us, support, assist us in any shape or form. Let's also take a moment to transfer merits to all the members of the armed forces, as well as the police force, who have sacrificed their lives to protect the peace and harmony of our nation. May all those lost life in the war Be their friend or foe, rejoice in merits of Christ today. There's also one chance and merits to all those who lost their life in natural calamities such as tsunamis, earthquakes, landslide, pandemics. Reminding ourselves among them will be those who have been friends and family to us in this long journey in samsara. May the power of the merits, if any of them born in the woeful planes, may they redeem themselves in born in blissed plane. May by the power of the merits, may they abstain from unmeritorious deeds, fulfill the meritorious deeds, fulfill the noble foot path, and attain supreme bliss and nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And finally, let's all resolve, may the power and blessing of all the merits acquired the other day, we have been witness the event of many hundreds of thousands of Arat Mahin in this blessed land. And finally, may the power of all the merits acquired the other day, you and I and everyone who made this program a success become an Arat Nivase or Arat Mahin Nivase in this very land in the era of the Gautama Supreme Buddha itself. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May the blessings of the Buddha be with you all. The members of the Mahasangha will now transfer their blessings to you. Raga ginnen mitetva, dvesha ginnen mitetva, moha ginnen mitetva, nibbana parama sukhayan Sukita taravetva, nibbana parama sukhayan, sukita taravetva, mamada siyalu loka, siyalu satvayo, nibbana parama sukhayan, sukita taravetva, nibbana parama sukhayan, sukita taravetva, nibbana parama sukhayan, sukita taravetva. Raga gini niveva, dvesha gini niveva, moha gini niveva, nivan sapa labeva, nivan sapa labeva, nivan sapa labeva. Tunrange susyananta mahaguna benim, siya loka siya satyoma, nibbana pama sukhin sukhtayata.